Hey, SE here. I'm just trying to kill some time before the tip-off of Game 6 between the Magic and the Celtics. By the way, for the record, I'm pulling for the Celtics. If for no other reason than because, number one, I want to see them play the Cavs again, and number two, I don't want the Cavs to sit for another 9 days. Anyway, I've actually been doing something for the past week that I haven't really told anybody about. Hold on. And that is, a couple of friends of mine got me to try a trial, a 10-day trial, which is the promotion that they're doing now for World of Warcraft. And I did it for a couple of reasons. The first being that it's free, and I rarely ever turn down trying a free game. And two, because I could harass some of my friends that were on there. Even though when you have the trial version you can't send private messages, you can still make friends with them and send all kinds of stuff to them when they're online. So I had fun with that. Excuse me. But anyway, most people know that I play MMO games. And I say MMOs because, and this is something that pisses me off, most people can't get the difference between MMO and MMORPG. They tend to confuse the two terms, and it's really, really stupid that you do. Because I play a game called Continuum. Continuum is an MMO. And the base gameplay of Continuum is a top-down spaceship fighting game. Like, you fly around, shoot people, blow up ships, raise your bounty, stuff like that. That's the base of the gameplay. That is not RPG gameplay. Gunbound is an MMO. It has RPG elements, but it's not an RPG. Up until something happened to it, Ultimate Baseball Online was an MMO. It had RPG elements, but the base of it was a sports game. Stop confusing MMOs with MMORPGs. Okay, that rant's over. Back to World of Warcraft. Well, you know that I played MMORPGs. I played EverQuest, City of Heroes. I played a bunch of free ones like Redemption, Silk Road, a bunch of stuff like that. So, I started writing down a bunch of things because, for whatever reason, there's this animosity between World of Warcraft players and EverQuest players. And I never really understood why. So, as I was playing it, and by the way, I'm going to have this notebook with me, I wrote down a bunch of stuff about World of Warcraft because, number one, there's no way I'm going to be able to remember all of this stuff. And two, because I kind of wanted to see how it was similar, how it was different from EverQuest. And on the whole, I have to say, after playing World of Warcraft, I really don't understand the animosity between WoW players and EQ players. Especially now, because after I played World of Warcraft, I really didn't see that many major differences between the two. They play almost exactly the same. But I do have a bunch of similarities and differences here, and this is going to take wow, this is going to take a while, so bear with me here. Now keep in mind whenever I say something about the sound or the music or the lag, keep in mind that when you do the WoW free trial, what you're basically doing is streaming the game to your computer unless you download the client. I didn't do that because I'm trying to save space on my hard drive. But that can create lag with sound, lag with gameplay, so I can't really be an accurate judge on that. However, I thought I had to belch, but I didn't. Anyway, one of the major differences is just how the games look. In general, and I'm going to say this later, but in general, WoW tends to look better than EverQuest. So, and I can't really be a fair judge on that, because when I play EverQuest, I have almost all of the optional graphics off. But things like the water effects in World of Warcraft, certain environmental aspects, like the details, like the birds flying around in the forest, those tend to look better in WoW compared to EverQuest. And another thing that... there it is. Another thing is the way that the two zones handle mapping. EverQuest, the way that it worked is they use zones to divide up everything. And there's a reason that they did that. Keep in mind that WoW came out in 2004. EverQuest came out in 1999, when they had a lot more limitations on what they would be able to do. So, EverQuest, the way that they handled their environments was they divided up a whole bunch of different cities, territories, forests, dungeons, all into separate zones that you would have to load between as you tried to go between all of them, or teleport between any of them. And World of Warcraft has this thing where, so long as you're like on the same continent, with few exceptions, you're basically just going to walk directly between all of them, just like that. No load time, no transition, whatever. One exception to that is when you like jump to a teleporter and you go to a different place. But even then, the load time for that is really minimal. EverQuest, for me, generally takes about like 20-30 seconds to get between zones, if my lag is good. And I forgot to say, the reason that they divided up the zones like that in EverQuest was to prevent lag from having a massive amount of players in two places that were right next to each other. Just for an example. Like, at the height of its popularity, EverQuest, if you go to the Plane of Knowledge, you would have like 200 people in that one zone. And the funny thing is, like, 120, 130 of them would just be crowded around this one bank, and it would be this black hole of lag that you would have to force your way through. What most people did was they just stared at the ground and then tried to walk through it. But yeah, that's one of the main differences. Another difference that I noticed is how experience handles in the game. Because I can talk again. The thing about experience is EverQuest and WoW generally have the same ways to get experience. I mean, you kill monsters, you do quests, most of which amount to kill this guy and bring this back, or fetch these items and bring them back. The thing that I noticed was you can get experience a lot easier in World of Warcraft. For one thing, you get bigger chunks of, and I don't want to say like the point value of the experience, you get a bigger percentage of experience for monsters that you kill. And the thing is, monsters that you can kill in WoW are generally easier to kill than stuff in EverQuest. Because one of the main differences is the combat works a lot faster. And I'm going to talk more about this later on. But EverQuest, you're generally trying to aim for, in the early levels, stuff at your level or below it. WoW, you can go this really long leveling stretch of time where you can just attack stuff that's 2 or 3 levels higher than you with almost no problem. And that makes it kind of really easy to level up, because in addition to that, you're leveling up with quests. And the thing with World of Warcraft is quests will fall out of the game's ass at a rate of about 3 per second. If you go into a town that you haven't been to yet, you have this little radar up in the upper right, and exclamation points on the radar denote people you can talk to get quests from. And at this one point, I had about 8 different exclamation points on that map. And the thing is, each one of those could give you 1 quest, or they could give you 2 quests at once, or they would have 1 quest, and then it leads to a sequence of 5 or so quests that you can do. So, sorry. So, there's this massive influx of quests that you can get, and you can level up at a ridiculous rate. This is gonna sound really bad, but it's a 10-day free trial. I got it back on Wednesday, it's now Thursday. I played it for a total of maybe 5 days. And I created 4 different characters. I was able to get characters to levels 8, 9, 10, and 18. Just playing casually over 5 days. For those of you wondering, my main was a Night Elf rogue named Torrible, because I like Charles Barkley.